Join me right now on Kumite TV is UFC bantamweight prospect Ricardo Ramos. What's going on, Ricardo?
Good, good. And you, how are you guys?
Good, good, man. It's a pleasure having you on the show. Right now, you're in Southern Florida. Are you spending the rest of your training camp there?
Yeah, exactly. I'm right here training hard knocks. I'm enjoying a lot right there. Really good spars, really good guys. So I'm really ready for this next fight.
There's a lot of guys at Hard Knocks. Who are you sparring with? Who are you working with closely?
So I spar with many guys every day. So I have Gilbert Burns right there. They are help me with everything. Have Mike Campbell. So uh, there's a lot, many names to say. So there's a lot of really good guys, big, huge guys.
What is your connection with Hard Knocks? How did you end up going there before this fight?
So I have friends in Miami. They live right here. They are living in Miami, training BJJ. So when I think about training USA, Miami was my first option because is the closest option for me for this training camp. I usually do my training camps on Team of a Male in California, but for this time I would like to try a different way and let's see what happened. But I think both gyms are really great, high level. It's the highest level I can be.
Yeah, you did train at Team Alpha Male. Now, in the news
Yeah,
right now, Urijah Faber, he's going to face Ricky Simone at
yeah,
UFC Sacramento. What are your thoughts on him
exactly.
coming back at 40 years old?
Man, the boss is back. He has a lot of experience. He's still on shape. He's man. I could training many times with him on Team of a Male, and he's still on the business. He's gonna be back and really in the highest level you can imagine.
You were supposed to fight Ricky Simone, but you never got
Yeah,
to, and Uriah Faber's
yeah,
going to fight him. How do you see this fight
yeah.
happening?
Man, when I saw this announcement, I say fuck yeah, but you know, I would like to fight with Rick Simon, but I broken my hand, had an injury, so I have to jump it out. But that's gonna be like I'm gonna be fighting together with Uriah for sure. When I watch this fight, I'm gonna put all my energy to Uriah, and let's see what happens. But my for sure my shot is for Uriah is gonna win.
Before you got to Hard Knocks, where were you doing your training camp? I know you were in Brazil. Where were you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in my gym, so in Black Sheep MMA, Marcelo Ferreira, BJJ. There's my family, and I was training right there, but I decided to come to Miami and finish my training camp right here. Uh, got a different spars, got a different way for a training camp and be uh, feeling better for my new training camp. Sometimes you have to change a little bit your choice to get the win. So I like to always improvise, always get a new thing. So that's I think I usually do.
Let's go back to your last fight. You know, you suffered your first
Okay.
loss in the UFC earlier this year in Brazil. Talk about the body shot and how that fight has affected you moving forward in your career.
Yeah. First, I think loss is only lost when you lost here, on your mind. I know that's a number, and that make me that don't change anything on my mind. So I know that that's the game, the fight game. It could happen every time. So it happened with me, but it's not changed my mindset. I still being the best fighter in the world, and I have to think like that because I want to be the best one on my weight division, be the champ. So nothing changed. And last fight, I don't like to talk too much about this fight because I had uh, health problems, and I don't like to say too much about this fight because I don't like to look like I'm doing excuses. I'm not excuse guy, So what happened happens, and nothing gonna change what that this loss, So I still on my way. I still recovering from everything. I'm back for the next one, and that's what is important for me. So be back and be back stronger and get this next win, and that's it for me. Lost is a part of the game.
Yeah, the next one you have Sergio Pettis in Minneapolis, Minnesota
Exactly.
on June 29th. It's probably the biggest, most well-known name that you are fighting in your career. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on his skill set?
Yeah, I know he's a tricky guy. He has a lot of tricks, but I can see a lot of you know, ways to go on the ground, on the BJJ wrestling. I know he's getting better on wrestling, but I have a lot of pressure on my grappling. And in stand up, I know I have a lot of my reach is uh, bigger than him, so I'm taller than him, so I'm gonna use that for sure. Use my all my you know uh, my arms I have to use on this fight, and for sure he's gonna feel the difference to fight a fighter like me. And I have my mindset too. I know he's coming from lost, and I know how the guys feel after they lost, And for me, in my mind, if my mind is stronger, and that's the most important in a fight for me. The mind, then the body, and training everything. But for me, first mind, and then everything.
You joined the UFC in 2017. You fought 4 times already. You have become one of the main prospects in the bantamweight division. Since joining the UFC, what have you improved the most in your skills?
Yeah, my wrestling for sure is the main thing on my fight game that I improved, and I have to say thank you to my wrestling coach Alexander Munoz, and for my wrestling coach from Brazil too, Everton Alemão, and yeah, I after I started in UFC a little bit before I started wrestling, but when I got in the UFC, I started to training more wrestling, and focus on that. And that's what I improved the most. But I improved a lot my stand-up game because I am a guy from BJJ, and when I get into I got into the UFC, I was like no experience on stand-up fights. I had some striking, moments on my MMA career, but nothing too big. So I had to get more experience on stand-up, and that's what I tried to do in all of my last fights. Try to fight stand-up and not use a lot my BJJ because I know that's where I'm very comfortable. So I try to change my way to improve more in what I have to improve, and I know that I'm a better fighter today than I was when I got in the UFC. So I have a lot to improve, and I will. And but yeah, wrestling and my stand-up game is what I'm improving, and my MMA game for sure.
You're only 23 years old. You know, you're a young guy. And it
Yeah.
almost seems like you're growing up in the UFC. You're growing up at the highest level. How does that feel for you
Yeah.
to be able to do this? Because a lot of guys, they spend 10 years outside of the UFC and they never make it, right?
Yeah. I never had a chance to think like that, but like you said, I'm growing on the highest level in the MMA game, and that's fucking amazing for me, because I always watch it, all these MMA fighters, and if you want to be a lion, you have to walk with the lions, So now I'm beside of the lions, and what I have to be is the alpha male, the alpha lion, and that's my way. I know that's the only way to be the best. I have to fight with the best. So I'm looking for always fighting with everyone who's gonna put me on the top, because I know every fight is very important. It's like the title belt for me, and I'm very grateful for that. I have to always say thank you for God, because He's the first and the main thing of my life that make me stronger to face off everything in my life. Not only on the fight game, on everything. I think life is a real fight, and yeah, this make me stronger always, so I can face everything.
Every fighter is dangerous in the UFC, but Pettis, he has a lot of decisions.
Yeah,
Do you think he's always fighting safe?
yeah. I think I believe that he is a guy who doesn't have a lot of he doesn't have a lot of power on hands. Of course, I'm not gonna open my face to be punched, but I don't feel he has a lot of stronger punches, and I think he has a lot of volume. He always moves very fast, very smooth, and so that's the way what is better for his game. So of course he gonna get more fights by points, because I think his fight game is closer than this. So uh, I think I can break this. I sorry, I not think. I believe, and I will break this, because I believe on my striking game is better than him. My BJJ game is better than him, and my wrestling is best than him. So I gonna use everything what I have, my BJJ, my MMA, my Muay Thai, my boxing, my wrestling, and put it in the mix, and do that to break him on the cage, to break every possibility for him. So I think he gonna try to put a lot of volume on the fight for me, to get in, get out, to try to move more than me. But I know what I can do to stop him, to stop that.
Your last fight, it was a speed bump, but you're still right outside the rankings. How long do you think it will take you to get to the top 5 of the division?
I was before my last fight, my first loss in UFC. I was very very excited to be on the ranking and be one of the top guys. That's the way to be the champ. But now I know that when you choose big things, you have to be ready for everything. So I was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna win this next fight, and I'm gonna be a top 15 or top 10. Let's see, and I was expecting that. So now I only expecting win my next fight, win every fight that they put on my way, and that's what I'm gonna do. And if UFC and if all the fans of UFC think that they believe that I deserve the top ranking, being the top, I gonna be there and I gonna work for that for sure. So let's see what happens on the next fight, and then we can talk about it again.
Music is a big part of sports, and sports
Yeah.
is a big part of music. What is the type of music that you listen to that energizes you for training and for the fight?
That's a interesting thing about me because, man, I always choose a different music because I usually say that I'm always in a different version than me. So I always try to show to everybody how is my energy on the fight day, and I a couple times I walk out with Gangsta's Paradise, and that's a song that I like it. But last fight I changed it like in the same day. I don't remember yet, but very close to the fight I say no, I have to change this music because my energy is different today, and I lost and I say fuck, that's about the music. And I say that's because I changed the music, but of course not. And but always is a different moment, is a different feeling about the fight, and I like to choose a music that gonna make me feel happy on the walkout and gonna put it energy inside me. And I don't think about anything but any music right now, but I like to hear uh, Old Town Road. This music is very popular here in Miami, and I'm every day I heard this song. I put on the car, and I like this one. Maybe on the next fight.
All right, well, the next fight is on June 29th, UFC on ESPN 3, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Ricardo, thank you so much for your time, and good luck on your future.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate all of you guys who is watching that. And I'm getting better on my English. Thanks for trying to understand. I expect that you guys enjoy it. It was